Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the first installment of Storytime with Evelyn, which I shared in my GLP-1 update video that I would start reading my book aloud to you each week. This week, I'm going to be sharing with you the dedication section in the book, as well as the introduction. This is my book. I self-published in 2022, and I don't know, it just dropped in my spirit that I wanted to share it. Sometimes before I start reading this week, sometimes, our lights can be so bright and we realize that it's bright even to us, and so we turn it down when we get in certain spaces with certain people in certain places. And I was sharing with my daughter, Morgan, the one I went skating with Mother's Day weekend, that I actually made up my mind and committed to myself that, in fact, not only am I going to shine my light, but I'm about to turn on the brights. And so this story time segment is about me turning on the bright beams, because I am owning my greatness and I'm harnessing it, and I hope that it's an inspiration to you too. So here we go. Beautiful, I Am Colored, a collection of true short stories and motivational thoughts. By the way, I got my book registered in the Library of Congress. That's another bright beam light moment that I wanted to share with you. So it's officially registered. Dedication. This little book is dedicated to all the people who have gone before me, especially Eddie and Joan Booth, Herbert and Shirley Wilson, Katie Murray, and Evelyn Booth. These people impacted my life in the most profound way because they are who I descend from. I gleaned so much from my grandmothers, Joan and Shirley, about how to be a woman, wife, mother, and friend. To my mother, Jacqueline, I am thankful for your yes to birth me into this world, and thankful for how you raised me to have a deep spiritual connection with God. To my father, who I have very limited memory of, thank you for being the conduit for my spirit to arrive on this earth and serve my purpose fully and wholly. To my grandfather, Eddie Lee Booth, you meant the world to me, and I am happy that I get to leave a legacy of words that will touch hearts and heal minds and souls. I learned so much from you, like hard work, perseverance, and desire to give back, even in the times when I may not feel adequate. You will always be remembered. To my husband and one true love, thank you for growing up, literally, with me and helping me become the change I saw so long ago. You are my best friend and dearest friend. I could not have become the person I am without you. Here's to doing more life together. To Caitlin, Avery, Morgan, and Caleb, my children, you are all success stories. I'm honored that God would trust me to be a guide and support for you. I love you with my whole heart. To the many friends, co-workers, and family members who have positively spoken into my soul, I love you. Thank you for every push, every moment of discomfort, and most importantly, every prayer that was surrendered to God on my behalf. Introduction. When you read the following pages, you may find that you want to read more about a particular story, or that one story ends abruptly. The stories are in no particular order, as they are intended to be separate entries. My intent is not to frustrate you, but to model how I write in my own personal journals. I start with an unction or thought, and then I write until I get it out. It doesn't have to follow the mechanics of academic writing. I just write as the thoughts come, and when the thoughts leave, the writing stops. When I have to think too much about what I am writing, it actually limits my ability to use freedom of expression. I can't begin to tell you how many times I tried to write a book over the last number of years. Several thoughts and ideas will come to me about how to best frame some of the stories of my life, but none of them would stick. For me, all things have purpose and meaning, so it was imperative that I write something from my heart that would have the potential to touch hearts of others and have the potential to change lives. If by the time you've completed this book that has happened, then I have served my purpose in sharing my life with you. As important as purpose and meaning are to me, time is just as important. And timing is everything. I don't know why the time to write is now, but it is. I don't question it. I just go with it because I have learned that there is a great power when you apply action based on that little whisper telling you to go, do, now. I talked to my grandmother, Joan Booth, on February 26, 2017, and out of that blue, she says, "You can write a book. You've lived long enough now and have the experience. Doesn't have to be anything big. It could be small. You know, all your little thoughts you jot down." This was my grandmother's way of suggesting that I should use everything I've learned to create, and I hope I have honored her in following through with what she advised. At the time, I kind of dismissed what she said, and then I received a phone call from my best friend, Dominica, on the same day, who said some inspiring things to me. After I got off the phone with her, I was in full tears and so contemplative. At that moment, what my grandmother said registered so deeply that I knew exactly the layout of this book and how I wanted to present it. Years and years of me starting and stopping, and suddenly in one moment, I was given the answer. I was humbled and knew I had to move immediately. Otherwise, this opportunity may well be lost. In addition to my grandmother, there was my friend Deborah, who also encouraged me to write a book on multiple occasions and over the course of more years than I can count. So here I am, doing what my grandmother suggested and my friend encouraged me to do. Truthfully, I have not always felt confident, strong, or beautiful. It has taken what seems to be forever for it to come into my own. I had to do a lot of work, some of which you will read about in the following pages. Change, my friend, is hard. I don't care what anybody says. If someone tells you that change is easy, chances are they lie. Do you realize the significance of today? I didn't. For about 18 years of my life, I lived in the past. A past that neither I nor anyone else for that matter could change or ever will. I chose to let circumstances rob me of some incredible moments. I don't say this from a place of perfection or even arrogance, but from a place near and dear to all of us, humans, the heart. You see, for years I resigned myself to the comfortable yet infuriating state of wanting to do something different, but not fully knowing how or possessing the right tools to do it. And what I found is that there is much more freedom in living in today than focusing on the things of yesterday. So, to fully understand what I'm talking about, I must tell you the major stories that have impacted my life thus far. My life is not better or worse than any other human being's, but it has been very colorful. And now I want to share some of those colorful moments with you to show that there is hope and that love always, not a typo, conquers all. I actually have that phrase tattooed on my skin. That's true. You may find some of the stories difficult to read because I share some painful moments, but please know that even as I write and edit this book, that healing continues to take place. And if by chance you've experienced some similar things, I pray that in my sharing, you will also experience healing. Writing prompts have been added at the end of each story to help guide your writing, but please don't let the writing prompts be a distraction or limit you in what you want to write about. The journal pages are for you, so use them as you see fit. God created only one you. Even if you are a multiple, there is only one you made up of millions of cells with a brain that thinks and behaves only the way you think and behave, which sets the stage of life for an amazing opportunity for you to be or become the best version of yourself possible. You owe it to yourself. And that concludes the very first Storytime with Evelyn segment. Next week, I'll be back to share more of my book with you, Beautiful I Am Color. Again, it was published in 2022, but I am choosing to share it with you here on my platform. I hope you have a wonderful week, and remember, the future you is waiting on you.